Today's episode of Michigan's Legends and Haunts is sponsored by Podcorn. If you run a podcast and haven't heard about Podcorn, we're here to tell you all about it.
Podcorn is an online marketplace that connects podcasters to amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities, such as host-read ads, interview segments, topical discussions, and more. The best part about Podcorn is there is no middleman.
Podcasters of all sizes, big and small, can browse and choose opportunities right on the platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without any exclusivities.
You never give up any rights to your podcast, and Podcorn is here to support you at every step and ensure you're protected and compensated for the work that you do for brands.
The marketplace mission is to give podcasters transparency, creative freedom, and full control of how and when we monetize.
If you're a podcaster, make sure you click the link in the show notes to sign up to Podcorn and start browsing sponsorship opportunities.
Welcome to Paranormal Monday on Michigan's Legends and Haunts. Today, we talk about 4 different legends. These legends are shorter, which is why we're including 4 of them into one episode.
Welcome. What is that? To Michigan's Legends and Haunts.
All right. So are you ready? 4 legends that come out of Michigan. These are smaller legends, a little bit less known. Therefore, there's not a whole ton of information on them. So the 4 legends we have for you today, and the reason that they are lumped together is because they were all on the same page. Shout out to the Weird Michigan book. They're awesome. So I took them all. I said, you know what, we're going to write some notes on these. We're going to talk about them. So we've got the Seven Gables Lane Witch. We've also got the Seidman Park Witch, the Mecosta Car Death, and the Singing Sands of Bete. So first up, we have the Seven Gables Witch. So Seven Gables Lane is a road near Dansville in Ingham County. And on this one, the legend says that the air on this road smells of burnt flesh from a witch that lived there many, many years ago. They say that looters in the area locked the woman in her house, which they then proceeded to set on fire. The woman died in the blaze, and local legend holds that the woman still hangs around on the road looking to seek vengeance on those who venture anywhere near where her property was. It became so out of control that the county actually had to build a fence to keep trespassers away. But of course, that didn't stop anyone. Many have still managed to make their way to the old property. While there may not have been any legal punishments, those that have made their way onto the property say that the so-called ghost witch will scream at trespassers, and that if you hear her scream, it means instant doom to you and those with you, if you don't vacate the premises immediately.
This reminds me of Morrow Road a little bit. I mean, different story, but, you know, same kind of thing. I wonder how many people have experienced it. Ew, burnt flesh?
Yeah.
It's gross.
No, so I tried to look up if there were any like actual sightings.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a legend, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So I
well, that book has a lot of cool things in it that, I mean, they don't really have. You probably can't find on the internet, you know. I wonder. Well, I guess her property her house was burnt, right?
Yeah.
So there's like no house there anymore. It's just, I wonder if there's like just burned down house still standing. That'd be kind of cool. Your wife would love that shit.
Yeah, I know, right? It'd be freaky.
We go.
It'd be weird.
Where is that? There's a little house somewhere that's like abandoned and really old. Where were we at when that happened? We drove by it and she was like, "Are you ready to see the house that I want?" Or that she wanted to go inside of really bad.
Was that in Armada?
Yes.
On Ebling Road?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's where we went. Because Ashmack was with us.
Yep.
And we were driving and she was like, "It's coming up on the left." And she was all excited. And we come up to it and she was like, "Right there." And Ashmack was like, "What in the hell?" This is like house the size of a shed and the windows are boarded up. It's like
yep. In the words of John Mulaney, "That's my wife." Because that's my wife.
Yeah.
Oh, she's something. She's something, ain't she?
Yep. Yep. That's kind of like what it reminds me of when they say that they're going, like they break through to go back, check out the property and whatever. There's something old and spooky back there. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Burnt flesh. The road smells like ugh.
Yeah, so the air on the road.
I mean, it probably doesn't.
No, it probably doesn't. But where's Dansville? Let's find out. Oh, it is just a little like dead end road.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a 2-hour drive from here.
Hmm.
Yeah. You want to go tonight?
Tonight? Did you say tonight?
Yeah. Do you want to go tonight?
No.
Okay, fine.
You were really invested there.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Whatever. But yeah, burnt flesh. She screams at you if you come onto the property, and if you hear her screaming, it means instant doom.
Instant doom.
Instant doom.
I don't like that.
Yep. So next up, we have the Cheating Witch at Seidman Park. This one is even shorter. Seidman Park is a park in Ada Township, which is south of Grand Rapids. It's said in local legend that the park is haunted by the ghost of a woman who was caught there cheating on her husband. Legend says that a fight broke out and the husband, the wife, and her lover all died there. Many people who venture into the park at night have claimed to see her ghost, and supposedly, if you go on a night when the moon is full, you can actually witness the fight being, like, replayed by ghosts.
Just stuck in this. Repeat it. What?
I
That's
don't
funny.
Know. Yeah?
I like that. I like that one.
You're just imagining, like,
yeah.
these ghosts just like
take some popcorn and watch. Very interesting.
They're like trying to punch each other and they just like fall through each other.
Oh my goodness.
And that's the Cheating Witch at Seidman Park.
Why did they die?
So I don't know. I don't know if they like died in the fight. Yeah, I think they all like killed each other.
What the? Oh my god.
That's how I like interpreted it. I mean,
wow.
It's a paragraph. It's a paragraph. There's like nothing.
She's a witch.
And she's supposedly a witch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know.
I mean, it makes me want to go, but also I feel like we'd be so disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, we'd have to make sure we knew that the moon was full.
Yeah.
So we could maybe see this fight. But yeah, I think we would drive all the way to Grand Rapids basically just to be disappointed.
That's
on that
okay.
one.
There's lots of other things to do there.
There's lots of stuff to do in Grand Rapids. It's true. It is true. And now, for a word from our sponsor. Today's episode of Michigan's Legends and Haunts is sponsored by Podcorn. If you run a podcast and haven't heard about Podcorn, we're here to tell you all about it.
Podcorn is an online marketplace that connects podcasters to amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities, such as host-read ads, interview segments, topical discussions, and more. The best part about Podcorn is there is no middleman.
Podcasters of all sizes, big and small, can browse and choose opportunities right on the platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without any exclusivities.
You never give up any rights to your podcast, and Podcorn is here to support you at every step and ensure you're protected and compensated for the work that you do for brands.
The marketplace mission is to give podcasters transparency, creative freedom, and full control of how and when we monetize.
If you're a podcaster, make sure you click the link in the show notes to sign up to Podcorn and start browsing sponsorship opportunities.
All right, and we are back. Third Michigan mini legend we have for you today is the Death Car of Mecosta. So this legend takes place in, wouldn't you know it, Mecosta, Michigan, which is located northeast of Grand Rapids. And it is said that the Death Car of Mecosta legend may have been an inspiration for an episode of Seinfeld and has been considered a national legend across used car lots throughout the history. Which I'd like to point out, working at a dealership, I've never heard this. Never heard anybody even talk about it.
I've never. It seems like if it was like really, Seinfeld, that's pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should have heard about this before now.
I don't know. So,
Okay.
So, the story goes that in 1929, a man only known by the name of Demings bought a brand new Ford Model A to, supposedly, impress a lady friend of his. As it turns out, even the Model A was not enough to win over the girl, and she did not return his feelings. So obviously rejection makes people do crazy things. Upset over this, Demings used the Model A to kill himself by way of carbon monoxide poisoning. Demings...
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, right? She don't like me. I'm going to kill myself. Like, what? Holy shit. So Demings carried out his suicide on a desolate country road, and no one found him or the car for 2 months following his death. To be expected, by the time he was found, the vehicle stunk to high heaven of rotting flesh. The death car was then hauled to a nearby town. Allegedly, a used car dealer bought and then sold the vehicle to a man that goes by the name of Clifford Cross. It didn't take him long to realize why he got such a great deal on the vehicle. It still smelled like rotting flesh, and nothing would remove the smell, nor could Cross even give the car away. It was that bad. Eventually, he had to send the vehicle to a junkyard.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. I think it's just crazy that he's like, she don't like me. I'm going to kill myself. Like, instant. Like, no thought about it. I'm just going to kill myself. What? And then the fact that, like, nobody found him for 2 months.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's crazy.
1929? Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he could have been in the middle of nowhere. I feel like there wasn't a whole lot.
It did say, it did say it was on a desolate road.
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. People. That's a little extreme.
A little bit.
If somebody dies in a car and sits there for 2 months rotting, it's gonna smell.
Really
it probably
bad.
isn't gonna be easy to get it gone, right?
No.
You can't really get rid of that. That's nasty. Why would they sell? That's gross. Why would they sell it? And why did he buy it? If I don't know. Get in a car.
So that's what kind of like throws me off too. Like he had to have smelled it when he like test drove it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yep. So next up, our fourth and final mini legend, which is probably the most well-known legend in this episode. This is the Singing Sands of Bete, which, yes, that is how you pronounce
You know, every time I read it, I was just like, nah, I said something new in my head every time.
Grise. Yes. Yeah. It's French. So it's Bete Grise. So the Singing Sands of Bete Grise. Bete Grise is a beach on the Keweenaw Peninsula on Lake Superior. So we're running back up to Lake Superior now. The legend says that the sands, when you rub the palm of your hand or smack your hand against the beach, the sands will sing or scream or let out a yelp-like sound. So, what is the legend? The legend says that a Native American woman lost her lover to the Great Lakes, and she spends eternity screaming or singing, awaiting his return. But it only comes out if visitors rub or smack the sand. But there is also a second legend. Sightings of a strange gray creature that stalks the beach, which they say could be the Yelp. Legend says that it's not screaming or singing when the sand is rubbed or struck, but whimpering and barking. Another part of this is that the Native Americans would burn off the blueberry bogs next to Bete Grise after the harvest, and the smoke rolling across the bay looked like a gray beast.
I don't believe this at all. I believe that there's a reason for the sound that the sand makes, but I don't think it's a lady or a beast. I think there's a scientific explanation for that.
Well, it's funny that you say that, so let's continue.
Okay.
So there's a gentleman by the name of Ernie LaPointe. Ernie LaPointe is an old family friend of a gentleman named John Mason, who wrote an article on the Singing Sands on the K102.5 radio station's website, which is where I got some of my notes for this. Ernie LaPointe was born and raised in Copper Harbor, just north of Bete Grise. Ernie would tell stories of the strange creatures running through the forest and along the beaches. He would say that the creatures stalked the land in search of young people who were out at midnight or were up to no good. They say the beast would attack and eat them. John says, looking back now, he thinks it was just to scare the kids into behaving. And about your scientific explanation, so this is kind of the weirdest part of this whole thing, is removing the sand from the beach, because visitors, going to the beach, they hear the legend, they try it, they rub the sand, it does the thing, which there are videos on YouTube if you want to look this up. However, this has scientists baffled, because when people try to remove the sand from the beach, wanting to take it home to show friends what it does and this, that, and the other, they'll take it home and to find that there's no singing, no screaming, no anything once it's rubbed after being removed from the beach. Scientists cannot figure this out.
I mean, how much sand are they taking? Well, I guess a scientist probably did a little extensive research on that.
Right.
But I feel like, when it's on the ground and there's just like a ton of it, any impact causes it to release a sound because of the tension in the sand. Like, I'm clearly not a scientist. No, I actually read about it, that, the way that the sand is made up, even when you just like step on it or stomp on it, it releases a sound because there's tension in the sand, and when you put any I don't know
pressure.
Yeah, that word. You put pressure on it and it releases a sound. Just like, if anything, I can't think of anything that makes a sound. You rub something together or whatever, and it. I don't know.
I do, believe it or not, I do know where you're going with that. Just so you know. So, I get that. Yeah, I get it.
I just feel like if it's on the ground when there's like a lot of it, then maybe it would release more of a, audible sound because of that. But
so you'd really have to probably take a significant amount of it with you.
I mean, you can't just take a handful of it and like clap your hands.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Nobody can see what you're doing, so I'm just like laughing.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So probably like a 5-gallon bucket of it, maybe. Like I can just scoop up 5-gallon bucket of it and bring it home, and maybe you might be able to make that happen.
I watched a video of somebody just like walking on some sand dunes, and it did sound like barking too.
It does.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing.
Or like a whimper, yeah. Yeah. But I don't think there's a beast, and I don't think it's a lady crying for
Listen, we cover urban legends.
I ain't saying that you're making
this is an urban
up.
legend. I don't know what to tell you. Do I necessarily believe the legends? No, not really. But we really don't know.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of things that are true. We've seen things happen.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess it could be true, but I don't think this one cuts it for me.
Right.
I am very skeptical about things.
You are very skeptical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think that's it for Michigan Mini Legends. Join us tomorrow for True Crime Tuesday.